Good morning, Bears fans. If it is a good morning, guys, welcome to the Bears Huddle podcast. I'm Owen James. This is your Bears update, guys. I don't know what to say this morning. I really don't. It was like 3 a.m. this morning I got to bed. That's one thing about being a UK NFL fan. You do not get early nights. You get to bed very, very late over here in the UK. And like I said, it was about 3 last night when I got to bed. Well, I didn't actually go to bed. I just fell asleep on the sofa because I didn't want to disturb my partner. So there we go. Look, I don't know what to say, guys. I think pride, heartbreak, sorrow, gutted, could have been, hindsight, all words that I think could come into play when you talk about that game yesterday. Bears v Rams at Soldier Field. I've got to say Soldier Field was rocking. The fans did the team proud. The defense played its butt off. The offense just couldn't get it done. There's some interesting things to look at from last night's game, and I think there's a lot of issues to come out, obviously. We will reflect on the season a little bit at the end of the video, not fully. We'll probably do a proper season reflection video later on. But look, please, obviously, if you just found the channel, please obviously subscribe. Help us to get growing, guys. You want to hit 1K subs ASAP. I'd love to be at 1K subs by the time next season starts, when the Bears are really going for that Super Bowl next season. Right, look, let's talk last night. What happened last night, guys? I think the biggest factor that absolutely guts me this morning is that we could have won that game. I think had we gone out there and been badly beaten, or it had been a 2-possession game or whatever, you could have kind of said, well, fair enough, we did what we could, we got as far as we could, we did well. But I think the real gutting factor for me is there were a lot of things last night that we could have done better, hindsight, that could have changed the game. I don't think the Rams were overly great. I thought the Rams were fairly ordinary. I thought Matt Stafford was fairly ordinary. I wasn't massively impressed with Puka Nacua or Devontae Adams. I thought Kyron Williams was very good. I thought the Rams defense stepped it up when it needed to. And our offense didn't get it done when it needed to. I think they are some of the key factors, some of the key things. Now, there's other things that happen. We'll talk about those. But a game we could have won. A game we should have won. And it should be the Bears going forward to face the Seahawks at Lumen Field in the NFC divisional game. I think the Rams will get absolutely smashed by the Seahawks. Don't get me wrong. I think the Seahawks, I think, from here on in, on my tip to win the Super Bowl, I think it'll be a Seahawks-Patriots Super Bowl, and I think the Seahawks will win it. But, look, last night, so many things last night, and we'll get to the inception, the game-ending inception, effectively, in a moment. But I think right from the opening drive, there was incidences of the what if incidences. The pass by Caleb to Rome Odunze that pretty much goes straight through Rome Odunze's hands. Rome catches that, it's a touchdown, and the Bears open up 7-0, and we don't go 7-0 behind it. The Rams tied at 7-7. And again, it could be a very different game had Rome caught that. And look, people will criticise Caleb's accuracy. And look, I think, even Caleb himself kind of admits that he has a journey to go on in terms of his accuracy. He spoke about that post-game. The work on that begins now, he said. And look, Caleb will get there with accuracy. Caleb is a tier 1 quarterback. You just got to look at that throw to Cole Kmet for the touchdown. We'll pick up on that in a moment. But the guy is tier 1. Absolute tier 1. But that drop, and there were balls that were thrown behind receivers, over receivers, and that happens in football, particularly in that weather. But one thing I'm going to say, there was a number of balls, eminently catchable balls, put down by our receiving core that, had they caught them, again, the game could have been very, very different. And particularly, obviously, that Rome Odunze drop when it should have been 7-zip Bears to open the game. Look, I know Rome, I think people kind of criticising Rome this morning, saying that he's not ready to be a wide receiver 1. He's not ready to play, ready to be the guy. I think it's a little bit unfair on Rome at this point in time. Rome's had a great season, but obviously a season affected by that injury. And we've got to remember that guy is playing with a fracture in his foot. And it's got to be affecting his route running ability. It's got to be affecting his jump. It's got to be affecting a number of things. And it's got to be playing on his mind as well. So, I think it is going to be a situation where Rome, once he is fully fit next season, may be a very different Rome. Odunze, certainly more the Rome we saw at the start of the season. there were a number of drops put down. I also think Colston Loveland coming out of the game was a major hit. We didn't see anywhere near enough of Colston last night. I didn't think Colston was great last night. I thought, some of the catches that he did put down a couple of chances, which I thought, were poor. But it was the offense that kind of cost us that game. And some of Ben Johnson's play calls, I think, kind of cost us as well. And I think there was opportunities to kick field goals in 4th and short in the red zone, and we went to punch it in, and it didn't happen, and we turned the ball over on downs. I can think of at least 2 occasions, one in the first half where I would have taken the points. Take the goddamn points. Go 3-0 up. I think that was after the Adunze drop. There was that opportunity to take the points, and he doesn't take them. So I do think that, that some of his calls were overly aggressive, and I think at times he needs to be a little bit more pragmatic in the way he approaches the game. But I don't think we'll ever see that from Ben. I think Ben is a naturally aggressive individual who will always go for it when he feels there is an opportunity. But we really did struggle on those 4th and short situations last night to get the yards we need, apart from that fantastic sneak by Caleb where he went to the left and everyone else went to the right. I mean, that was fantastic. I also think as well last night Ben did not utilise Caleb's legs enough. I thought there was the opportunity, was it? I can't remember. It was in overtime or in the 4th quarter where Caleb takes off and runs for over 20 yards, and we saw when he turns on the jets, he's one of the fastest quarterbacks in the NFL. And I think there was an opportunity there with the gaps over the middle to really exploit that from Caleb and exploit Caleb's speed, and we didn't use that effectively enough. The interception at the end, let's get to that, and we'll talk about the positives of the game, the defense in particular, in a moment. But the interception at the end, yes, is partly on Caleb, but is majorly on DJ Moore. Is majorly on that man. DJ Moore, to me, is one of the most frustrating wide receivers in football. There's times when that guy, that one-handed catch that he pulls off, there's times that guy looks elite, that looks tier 1, looks, up there with the Jamar Chases, Jackson Smith and Jigbas of this world. He looks that good. There's other times when he just looks like he ain't interested. He does not want to be there. And that interception where, was it Curl or Carl? I can't remember the guy's name. That intercepts it. DJ Moore does not run that route hard enough. He does not run that route quick enough, and he gives up on the route. Near the end of the route, you can see him pretty much just give up. And that is unforgivable. You can't do that. You cannot do that when the game is on the line in overtime. You cannot not run hard. You cannot give up on a route. And he did that last night, and that's unforgivable for me. Absolutely unforgivable. I can't remember. There was a quarterback, a former NFL quarterback, broke it down last night on one of the NFL post game shows, and he said exactly the same. Moore gives up on that route. Now, I'm not saying for a minute we should trade DJ Moore. Now is not the time to be talking about that, but I think there'll be conversations between Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles around that, given this is not the first time that DJ has done it. He is, like I said, one of the most frustrating wide receivers in the NFL with the talent he has, and doesn't always deliver. There are times when he delivers and you're like, DJ freaking Moore, and there are times when you go, DJ bloody fucking Moore. So I don't know, guys. Right, look, the throw to Cole Kmet, that is a generational throw. That is a throw. And Packers fans giving it this morning, giving it all the big I ams. I mean, last night, you should have seen social media. It was poisonous. But all I'm going to say is who won the North, who got further, whose coach is Matt LeChoke. Packers fans, shut the hell up, you inbred mutants. Get back to your mums, get back to your wives who are also your mum or your sister, or get back to your dads who are also your husband. So shut the hell up. I don't care what you've got to say this morning. Jordan Love is one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the NFL. I wouldn't even swap you Case Keenum for Jordan Love. That throw that Caleb Williams pulls, where he's under pressure, running backwards, falling backwards, and throws it to Cole Kmet, that is a generational throw. And to all those Bears fans that are criticising Caleb for the interceptions this morning, like I said, I think, a couple of them, on him, but that last one, not on him at all. And no one else pulls off that throw. Your boy and the Bajan baddies that are going to come out and go, if Tyson played, we'd have won that game. No, we wouldn't. We wouldn't even been close if Tyson had played. Tyson does not make that throw to Cole Kmet, and the Rams win in regulation. Guys, get over yourselves. Absolutely, just an amazing throw. A one that you wouldn't believe. You would not believe it if you didn't see it. So, look, the offense was the weaker link last night. I think, if you'd said to some people before the game that the offense would be the weaker link, I think you'd have got people going, yeah, whatever. The defense last night played its butt off. Yes, the pass rush still needs work. And I think this coming off season, we still need big work on the defensive line. I think that is a big thing for me. The Bears secondary was amazing, though. Absolutely outstanding. Jaquan Brisker was amazing. Now, I know Jaquan is out of contract this off season. He needs to be renewed. Jaquan needs to be back in Chicago next season for me, 100%. 8 tackles, 6 assisted, 1 sack. He was always there, breaking up passes. He was awesome last night. Absolutely awesome last night. Kevin Byard, 4 tackles, 1 assisted tackle. My boy Kyler Gordon, 3 tackles, 4 assisted, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, nothing else. That was it. But he was awesome as well last night. I thought the secondary was absolutely outstanding last night in the way that it covered, the way that it closed things down. And Byard, Brisker, Gordon were the outstanding players for me last night. They stood out on defense hugely last night. Montez Sweat got his sack. Kyler Gordon got a sack. We got 4 sacks last night. Yeah, we didn't turn the ball over. I think that was the one weakness on defense. And I think one of the things that stood out for me last night about the defense was, number one, Dennis Allen went for it, aggressive. He was a lot more aggressive in the first half than the second. And I think that kind of allowed the Rams to drive a little bit and get that touchdown to Kyron Williams at the end. But he got the game right. He got the game plan right. And I hope we hang on to Dennis Allen for next season. And we build that defense. We build that defense up for him a bit more. But I thought the secondary was outstanding. And like I said, I think Jaquan Brisker needs to be retained going forward. The guy was outstanding last night. Absolutely outstanding for the Bears last night. Kyler Gordon also absolutely outstanding. Keep that guy fit next season. And he is going to be one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. You've only got to look at the fact that we hardly heard the name Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams last night. It was on our secondary to stopping that. The defense, like I said, was excellent last night, and I think you've got to really compliment Dennis Allen, especially as they were so trash talked and down talked all of last week heading into this game. Dennis Allen really did pull a rabbit out of the hat and deliver for our Bears last night. I am gutted this morning. We could have won that game. It's a game we should have won. We should have won that game. That drive where it ends with the interception because of DJ, some of that maybe on the play call. Maybe he doesn't need to throw it downfield at that point. Maybe he just needs to keep running the ball. I thought DeAndre Swift played well. We get there. But it is what it is, guys. We are now out of the playoffs, and we started to turn our attention to next season. And before we do that, which we will do on the channel, and we will keep making videos all through the off season, so please stick with us. You've got to say, you reflect back on this season, and whatever you think of last night's defeat, and it was heart-wrenching, it was gutting to lose that game, you've got to be proud of what the Bears have achieved this season. Nobody expected the Bears to be in the NFC divisional round. Nobody expected the Bears to win the NFC North. Nobody expected the Bears to have a winning season even. There was a lot of trash talk and down talk of the Bears' chances this season. But in Ben Johnson's first season, he won the NFC North. He went to the NFC divisional round. He won some memorable games. He came up with some memorable plays. Ben Johnson will learn. Ben Johnson will develop as a head coach. Caleb Williams will learn and develop as a quarterback. The franchise is finally heading in the right direction, and Ryan Poles also deserves a lot of praise for the work that he has done over the offseason and over in the draft to really improve this roster. And I think that is more work that will continue throughout this offseason and the next upcoming draft, which I think is in Pittsburgh. So, look, guys, it is, as much as we are gutted this morning and heartbroken at the loss, we've got to think about the positives. The franchise is heading in the right direction. We've had a season to remember. We've had a season that we never thought that we'd get, that a lot of people told us there was no chance of going from worst to first, which we have done. And, the Lions fans can trash talk all they want. The Packers fans can come on and trash talk all they want. But that's because they're scared. That's because they are scared that these Bears are back. Guys, I'd love to know your thoughts on last night and on the Bears going forward. Thank you for watching the Bears Huddle podcast. If you enjoyed the content, please like, comment, share, and of course, please subscribe to the channel. And let's get a bear down in the comments. Show your pride in the team. Bear down, Chicago. Bear down.